Suffering is necessary for some serious learning. This is an interesting one. So, what's interesting is that anything valuable in life, if you've noticed, requires a certain amount of suffering in order to be acquired. This is no mistake. This is not a bug. This is a feature in reality. And so, when you're thinking about figuring out what you want in this life and acquiring it, my question is to you, what are you doing to suffer towards it? Because if you want to become a truly iconoclastic individual, and if you want to become unique, if you want to become rare, valuable, then you're going to have to be an individual that's willing to put their skin in the game, and someone that's going to sacrifice for it, someone that's going to suffer towards creating that individual, suffer towards acquiring that skill set. So what is it for you? And notice what it is, and then ask yourself, how much have I suffered towards it? How much pain have I put towards actualizing it? That's something that very few people could ask themselves, simply because we don't necessarily like to think about acquiring our dream life through pain. People do not want to go through that pain. People do not want to suffer towards getting what they want. And that's why you're never going to be able to get what you want. When was the last time you really suffered for something? And you really put over 100 hours of painstakingly conscious and focused work towards something? When was the last time? Especially outside of a school project or something at your job, something that was personal to you. When was the last time that you did something on your own? When was the last time you set a goal that was currently bigger than who you are right now? Where the goal requires you to grow, where the goal requires you to go more outside of your comfort zone than you know that you're comfortable with. The learning that comes with suffering is the learning that's hard earned. And so when you are going to actualize your life purpose, look for those paths that other people don't want to do. Look for the hard way. Look for the way that people don't want to walk because they do not want to go through that pain. Because then that's your shortcut ahead of everybody else. When I find a path that I can clearly see how I'm going to grow from it, and then the same path other people shy away from because it seems like too much pain or too much sacrifice or too much suffering, I get excited because I know I just found a leg up on everybody else. I know I found an advantage because I'm committed to actualizing this vision. And I will spend the rest of my life actualizing my visions because I'm not here for anything else. I'm not here to half-ass it. I want to get what I came here for. And it's interesting to put it that way, because when you start out in this life, you don't necessarily know what you want. I only started to really clarify and figure out what I want, starting at like age 19. I'm 23 now, and I have way more clarity, but I even know by the time I'm 25 even, I'm going to look at the clarity I had when I was 23, and I'll be like, that motherfucker didn't know what he was doing. He didn't have clarity for shit. And that's what I want. That's when I know I'll be growing. Because my clarity on my path will get so sharp, so vivid, that other people will just be astounded. And it's interesting too, because I already see it. When I tell people what I'm up to, when I tell people what I'm doing and how I'm going to actualize it every single day, people are like, man, like there's nobody else has got it figured out as much as you do, and you're only 23. It's like, yeah, because I actually put some fucking time into this shit. That's it. That's it. Instead of watching TikToks, you sit the fuck down and think. Every moment of my day, I'm trying to figure out how I can just optimize things just a little bit more, how I can actualize my path just a little bit more, such that I can get towards my goal even faster, and even just in the day-to-day. Because my goal is also just figuring out how to enjoy this direct experience to the maximum. There's so many people that are twice my age and don't have nearly the amount of clarity that I have. And it's because they did not take the time. They did not make the sacrifice. And I still am not even satisfied with what I know. I know I can sharpen it even more. And so for me, I can see my next emotionally difficult path, which is training myself to really sit down and contemplate for even longer, for hours per day. And not just in the pockets of my day or here and there, but actually making this into my own religious practice. And that would be the best invested time I can make. Back on topic of pain, when you can see a route where you can go through all this pain and you can build an attitude of an individual that wants to embody a mindset of being able to handle more pain than others, handle more emotional difficulty than others. When you can cultivate that discipline, you're going to become unstoppable. Nothing can get in your way, because the only thing in your way is going to be yourself. And you're not going to be a product of your environment like everybody else. Because that's simply what people out here are doing, is they're just becoming a product of their environment, because they're not willing to lean into that emotionally difficult action every single day of being a little bit and being someone a little bit different. It takes emotional labor to change yourself every single day. My question is, are you going to put in that work? Because if you want to become who you came here to be, you're going to have to become an individual that can go outside of their comfort zone in every moment as much as possible with every day of their life. Because think about it. If you are who you are right now and you're not who you want to be, then you're gonna have to go outside who the fuck you currently are. And that's gonna be uncomfortable as fuck. That's gonna be painful as fuck. You know how painful it was for me to rid some of my addictions? And for me, I'm lucky enough to not have chemical addictions, but for me, it was everything related to a screen. And just to even unwire the mindset of being lazy, to unwire the mindset of not being proactive, where I had to constantly remind myself, like, everybody else here isn't gonna be going far. They're just gonna stay where they are. And that's the fucked up part, is that everybody else around you is probably going to be getting the same results that they're getting for the rest of their lives. But if you want to skyrocket and break the mold that you're currently in, you're gonna have to constantly be challenging yourself such that you're pushing yourself past your limits. Constantly challenging yourself and taking pride in that pain, taking pride in putting in that work. Because then you'll be able to soar far above anybody else. And you will actually be able to get to where you want to go. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.